Hello everyone, watch this review here with a look at Silver Samurai from the Wolverine and Silver Samurai Marvel Universe Greatest Battles 2-packs, the comic packs. Originally was not going to pick this up, mostly because I don't really care so much for this look for the Silver Samurai, but I was looking around the clearance section for something else, found this, $10 for 2 figures in a comic. You know, I'm not made of stone. I am not made of stone. I am made of much weaker stuff. But I will only be looking at Silver Samurai in this review. Wolverine will come at another point, probably tomorrow. Now, of these 2 packs, I've seen this one quite a bit in stores. Still have not seen the Deadpool Taskmaster set, which was the one I really wanted. But you know, I guess that one's probably going to be kind of popular given the characters and sculpts. Hold on a second, I'll look at this box. Before we have a look at the figure, let's quickly look at some of the stuff it comes with. The actual card back here is this really cool shield design on it, which I thought was neat, and you really can't appreciate in box because the comic's in front of it. We also have the insert, which I do save. They're really cool looking arts, and you can just toss them up anywhere. As well as the comic, which, while it has a really classic looking cover, which I believe is probably from the old series or whatever, when you open it up, it's new. Look at this. It's Scar! And it's clearly a much, much newer story because he's got the astonishing look and everything. I believe that's the astonishing one. So it's kind of lame. I don't really like that. And in the back of the comic, we have this look at Galactus, who was last year's big figure. Interestingly enough, it's the Dark Galactus variant, so I'm really not sure what's up with that. Now the figure comes with 2, well, I guess you'd just call them samurai swords. I mean, technically I believe this is probably just a katana, but I don't know enough about it. And then we have this shorter dagger, neither of which really is detail to it. It's just thin strip of plastic on the front, then a bit of detailing for the grips here, and this. No actual, like, blade look to it, which is kind of lame. These can actually plug into his waist, but I'm not sure if, you know, it's a long sword on bottom or on top because it fits either way. And it's not depicted in the art, which is kind of lame. For those of you not familiar with the Silver Samurai, he was, I believe he was first introduced when Wolverine just sort of took some time off from the X-Men and had his whole Japanese adventures. I think he's like the half-brother of Wolverine's loves, but I can't really remember so much. Now, the reason I don't really care for this look a ton is because I basically sort of, most of my exposure to the character was either from the X-Men the animated series, or it was from the games that sort of came along with it. Like X-Men Children of the Atom, I believe, was the first one he appeared in. And all those have a sort of bigger, kind of bulkier look for the character, which is suitable because he's in armor and stuff, so much broader chest, whereas this has just a really jointy look to it, which I'm not so much a fan of. Package, he does look a bit nicer than in it, but again, just not that feeling this as much, but I figured he'd be a really cool character to kind of own, especially because we haven't had a Silver Samurai on any scale so far. Detail-wise, kind of sort of basic paints here. You will notice a lot of shadowing here on the armored portion, so they tossed in some blacks and stuff. And then on legs here, doesn't really look like much. Arms, I believe there's just a really light coating. Heavy amount for the gauntlets, heavy amount for the greaves, or boots or whatever, and then a little bit down here. So I mean, you know, color-wise, probably not the most interesting of characters, but this is basically how the dude looked like in the comics and stuff. And in everything else, I just put his katana in backwards. So I mean, it's probably not a huge issue. Now, I'm not sure if Silver Samurai fans will probably be massively enthusiastic about this or not. He kind of looks like one of the versions from the games. I believe it's sort of like he appeared in the X3 one. I don't know. But yeah, sort of a cool figure. In terms of articulation, he actually has a kind of decent amount for... Or no, I think he might actually just be kind of standard except for the additional hip thing, which they've recently sort of started. It wasn't on a lot of the earlier molds. Where you get that point of rotation at the thigh. But let's quickly run through it. We have a point of rotation at wrist. Up down here at elbow. Point of rotation at bicep. Shoulders are heavily impeded by these pads, although they're a softer rubber, so if you really wanted to force it, you could, and they do fold up sort of, but they lose their shape over time. Always an issue. Head's on a sort of modified ball joint or whatever. Gets a fair amount of up motion, just sort of impeded in the back. Huge amount of down motion. Just kind of wild. Torso joint, which is nice. Also gets a waist joint. Even nicer. So then you can get some cool poses out to the side and stuff without having to have the logo be all distended, which would have sucked. Plus, if you look at it when you do the ab crunch here, logo still looks okay, and then when it goes up, again, there's enough paint underneath there that the logo does sort of match. The plated skirt or whatever here doesn't really impede motion, especially because it's cut around. The character, I believe, would be able to just sit on like a normal chair or something if you wanted him to. But yeah, standard up all the hip, and then double joint here at the knee, in addition to the point of rotation at the upper thigh. Then we have a point of rotation here at the calf, which you don't see so much. Especially, well, I mean doubly so, because it's sort of a concealed joint, and then, you know, sort of a ball and socket here at the ankle, with a foot pivot. Huh. You really don't see foot pivots on the smaller figures so often, so that's really impressive in and of itself. A lot of them don't really seem to do that for whatever reason, so that's pretty cool. But I mean, despite that, he clearly has some real balance issues, but maybe it's just the cloth or whatever. I don't know. He really could have done with a stand, which most Marvel Universe figures can. Let's just toss him in next to Wolverine here. I mean, yeah, kind of neat, I guess. And not really to scale, because I imagine Wolverine should be a bit shorter than that. Let's toss him into a sort of standard Marvel Universe figure, the Iron Man, who he basically is as tall as. He's got maybe a tiny bit more. So I mean, that I'm not really enthusiastic about, because I imagined he'd just be a really bigger dude with all this armor on, but, you know, kind of small. All in all, though, pretty cool figure. Definitely happy to have picked him up for the price that I did. Probably would have passed on him even if I saw him for $13 otherwise, but, you know, I figure he probably is a pretty cool display piece, and though I don't know a terrible amount about the character, despite having used him in so many other games, you know, just really happy to sort of have this one, and imagine I probably will be able to fit him into a ton of displays. So yes, it's been a look at the Silver Samurai from the Marvel Universe Greatest Battles comic packs. Tune in tomorrow for a look at this Wolverine, because, you know, everybody loves seeing Wolverine, but until next time, folks.